All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Fundamentally Sound Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Serrata. I want to first off just say that we took a small break. We took a small break. I was doing things last week, and it was just, time to just chill. So we took a small break. I was out of town, and now we're back. And of course, who better to have than my two boys, consistent guests on the podcast, John and Drew. Y'all want to introduce yourselves again, fellas? No?
You go first, John.
Okay, you got it, John.
What's up, everyone? John here, repping Arizona State University. Loud and proud, go Devils.
Go Devils.
Number one hotspot in America for COVID. Just saying.
Really?
I think we're still number one. We might not be anymore, but
A&M's top 5.
oh, well,
I think they are 5,
the state of Arizona.
Oh, that's fun.
We're winning.
Oh, great job. Drew?
Hello. My name is Drew Brummer. On the screen. You know me before. If you're new for this random episode, welcome. But, you probably know me. So
Let's
get to it.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. How is this random?
I don't know. Usually the people that watch us, they've seen us before.
Yeah, very true, very true.
Welcome.
So if you are new, be sure to hit that like, subscribe button, follow us. I have not posted on Spotify in a little while. I'm gonna be doing it Thursday. That's my fault. But I just enjoy doing live shows a whole lot more, and I can't take our live shows and put them, on Spotify, sadly. But I do just want to say that Spotify episodes will be turning this Saturday or this Thursday. And I don't know who I'm going to have on there just yet, but we'll see what happens. Boys, let's just jump right into it. The big glaring thing that's going on Sunday, the Super Bowl, biggest sporting event in America. Who we got? Who's winning it? Is Brady taking the upset, or is Patty running away with it? John, opinions?
Chiefs 33-20, and that's all I'm going to say because
Oh, so it's going to be sort of like a romping on your end.
so
That is.
there's two ways this game
Especially in the
can
Super Bowl.
There's two ways this game will end. The
Okay.
Chiefs just dominate, and Brady doesn't look very good. He struggles, and like you said, the Chiefs just dominate, or it's Brady plays Brady Super Bowl, and they squeak by with like a 1-point victory or like a late field goal to win the game, just because Brady's had a couple of great kickers play for him or play with him, and he was a Patriot and win some Super Bowls. So Ryan Suckup has looked good as a kicker.
I was about to say, I didn't even know who they had at kicker.
I think it's.
He has been doing good.
For him, I don't know. But yeah, they were talking about him. It's like, yeah, he's looked pretty good. But no, I got Chiefs 33-20. That was my after the divisional round championships, whatever. I said Chiefs 33-20, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Joseph?
Yeah. So I'm going for the Bucks because of Tom Brady at this point in my life. I've accepted Brady as the GOAT, so I am just rooting for greatness. I used to be anti-Brady, look up at the walls, Manning over Brady, but now he's the GOAT. So I have to just kind of root for him because all of that. But I believe the Chiefs will win, and if I'm a betting man, I'm not betting on the game. But if I had to, I would bet on the Chiefs. But I'm not betting against Brady, and I'm not betting against the Chiefs just because I'm torn. But I'll tell you this.
Very much, right?
I'm happy that the whole COVID season and everything ended with such a fun Super Bowl, because think about when the last time that you've had a really, really great Super Bowl of one versus the other. Like,
Facts.
we've had the Rams kind of get in there, the Eagles get in there, the 49ers last year were like, there wasn't like two storyline quarterbacks. There's two storyline until like, I don't know, maybe Broncos, Seattle, or
Probably. I'd say
something
that
like
was
that.
probably like the last great
Russell
one.
was even considered good.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe Seattle Patriots or something like that. I don't remember, but one of those, like 5 years maybe. So this is great Super Bowl. Like, this is so fun.
I'd probably say that it's since I've known y'all, right? So since I've known John, because I've known John one more year than I've known Drew, I'd say that this is probably the best Super Bowl since, and maybe John has a different story, but I think because we watched every single year 2 in the conference room. That was fun. That was always fun. And down in Corpus on the big screen. But no, I said that this is probably the most talented, without a doubt. I just in the last 5-6 years, I just don't think that anything compares to this Super Bowl. I mean, these 2 matchups. You got the GOAT, which yes, I was also anti-Brady at the time. I would have taken probably anybody but Brady. I mean, you could look at Peyton Manning, you can look back in the old days of Joe Montana, and all this other stuff. But no, Brady's a GOAT. So as much as that hurts to say, but Brady's a GOAT. And so you got the GOAT going up against baby GOAT and Patty Mahomes, and it's just going to be a super exciting matchup. So Drew, you're saying Bucks? That's who you're going for?
No, yeah, I'm going for the Bucks. I want Tom Brady to win, but I'm not even going for anyone. I'm just watching it to watch football, which I enjoy. And if I had to bet, I would say the Chiefs would win, just because I think that they're going to be more consistent. But I'll tell you this, because you kind of alluded to it, and I wanted to bring up this topic, but you said baby GOAT for Mahomes, and Tony Romo brought this up on some form of media, and I
already know what you're going to say.
I think he explains it perfectly.
Yep.
If Mahomes loses this game, it will be the biggest attack on his legacy moving forward. He will never be able to reach Tom Brady as a GOAT, because even if he pulls off however many Super Bowls and MVPs and stats or whatever, even to get that is going to be really hard, because Brady's going to have 10 Super Bowl attempts, 6, 7 wins, whatever.
I don't know.
But he's going to have that loss to him.
If they keep building the team like they do now, like they build around Mahomes, and I mean,
possibly.
It's going to be hard to say
even
that he's not getting 10.
Getting 10 Super Bowls attempts, getting 6 wins, it's probably going to be 1 or 2 short. But if he loses to Brady, he lost to him. It's like if Michael played LeBron in a championship, it would be the end of the debate. You've had it one time.
Facts.
But then at the same point, if he wins, now if he rattles off something, you can say he did beat him. So I think this is huge for legacy for both players, even though Brady is obviously GOAT, and I think he'll stay the GOAT forever. But the only person that could touch him would be somebody that plays against him and wins, and then rattles off as many wins and stats and stuff to be able to have an argument.
Yeah.
I think this is the passing of the torch. I think Brady knows that his time is coming to an end. He won't admit it, but he knows that he's on the decline, and he knows that the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are going to be they're the future of the NFL. They already are the face of the NFL. So this is officially, if Mahomes wins and the Chiefs win, this is officially Brady saying, you are the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and you are officially the king. I'm still going to have my 6 Super Bowls, and I might get there again with the Bucks. I might not, but I'm officially passing the torch to you. You lead the NFL for the next 15, 20 years until you're 45 years old. And that's it. That's if he wins. If not, like you said, what Tony Romo said, his legacy is always going to have that little asterisk on it. It doesn't matter how many Super Bowls he wins, unless he wins 10 of them. If he wins less than 5 or less than Tom Brady, Brady is going to have that advantage over him.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I can't add anything on to what y'all said. It's 100% true. I agree with both of you. And just getting back to my prediction, I think the Chiefs take it. I'm not going to say 33 to 20, but I'm probably going to say I'll say 28-24. There's going to be plenty of offense, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, the Bucks defense is good, but it's got, inconsistencies. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep it at that. 28-24.
Who are y'all going for, though?
I'm going for the Bucks. I mean, let's be real.
Okay.
Chiefs.
Yeah, see, he's going for Chiefs. So, it's just one of those things.
I will admit Brady is, maybe the best quarterback of all time, easily top 5. But I'm just still not a Brady fan. I'm still anti-Brady. I don't care who he plays for. So, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, right? The Eagles played them in the Super Bowl a few years ago.
Ooh, who'd you root
for? The Eagles.
Oh, we all were, though. I mean,
But
everybody in
Cowboys
that
fan-
room at the
the
time
Cowboys
was
fan
going.
doesn't root for the Eagles, the Giants, or the Washington football team, no matter who they're playing.
Right.
But that year, I was going for the Eagles to win the Super Bowl.
I got you. All right, so moving on. Big, huge news in the sports world, in the NFL world. Matthew Stafford, quarterback of the former quarterback of the Detroit Lions, is now being traded to the Rams in what is an absolutely crazy move. They're giving them Jared Goff, former quarterback of the Rams, 2 first-round picks in next year and 2023, and a third. I want y'all's opinions. Who won, and does it matter in the end? Does it really matter what happened, or will this trade have any implications whatsoever on the Super Bowl next year? So, Drew, let's just go ahead. We'll start with you, yeah, since we started with John last time.
Yeah, so there's so many storylines that you could pull from this trade, being number one overall picks in the draft, and how many dollars they have in salary cap hit, per player and stuff. And as much as I want to talk about all that, basically I think that the Lions win the trade because they are rebuilding and they get more draft capital. But it's not by too much. I think people are putting it higher than what it is because they get Jared Goff. And if you're rebuilding, you don't want Jared Goff and the cap hit for that. Now you're getting picks and Matthew Stafford wanted out. So you're going to have to accept something. But I would almost said rather not take Goff and maybe take one less first round pick and then use something for a quarterback.
Right.
But the Lions are rebuilding. I do my
Or
only
even draft a quarterback this year. That's another option.
right.
Because there's 5 very, very talented QBs in this draft. So.
And they could get one of those guys, being where they're at.
But they didn't. They went with Goff. So keep going. I'm sorry.
I think the only other story that I want to bring up, because I know there's a bunch of other things I could, is the idea that the Rams offense and Sean McVay. The crazy game of the Rams versus the Chiefs, most scored points by 2 teams. Sean McVay has basically made it known he hates Jared Goff, and he is not a good quarterback for his system. Matthew Stafford has had track record of slinging it around. And if he has good receivers, obviously he had Megatron, but even just in general, Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, he's been slinging it around. So what I really want to see is, was it Jared Goff and Sean McVay's system is really good, or is it just happened to be a crazy year when they went to the Super Bowl and the few games or whatever? I want to see that, because if Matthew Stafford can do really well in that system, now I change my perspective on the Rams, and I don't think they're going to make a Super Bowl run, but at least now that you're talking about a really high performance offense. And that's what I'm looking forward to, whether you're talking fantasy, whether you're talking NFL, just watching football, anything like that.
Yeah.
Sean McVay is an offensive-minded coordinator and coach, and I think that's going to be really interesting to see, how that plays out.
Very true. Very true. John?
So I think short term, I think the Rams win that trade for all the points that Drew just made. Matthew Stafford is a gunslinger. He can make any pass in the NFL.
Don't sleep on his legs too.
Yeah, he's a mobile quarterback. He can move around. I think it was Aaron Rodgers that made the comment, like Matthew Stafford made like some ridiculous throw, and he basically was like comparing it to Patrick Mahomes. It was like something like Stafford was making these throws way before Mahomes was, but he didn't like get recognized for it because he was on a really bad team. He played for the Lions, all that junk, all that mumbo jumbo. So maybe going to the Rams, I think he will be a really good fit for that offense. Plus, he's very mature. He's a very smart quarterback. He knows his limitations, right? And so he's not going to force things like Goff was doing. So I think the Rams win short term. They have a way better chance of making the Super Bowl than the Lions just because they have an outstanding defense, and that offense can potentially get back on track. But it's going to be a tough run to the Super Bowl as a Rams team, just in general. But they do have the capability of doing it. It's just the NFC is way tougher than the AFC, right?
Now,
at the same time, the Lions, I think they potentially can win the long term if they draft correctly.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say.
That's the problem. They have not done very well in the draft recently, and like Drew said, we can't forget that Jared Goff was the number 1 overall pick in the draft 4 or 5 years ago, however long it was. So there is that potential for him to still grow and develop. And I think this Detroit system could potentially be better for him because, McVay, he's a fast-paced, gunslinging kind of running gun kind of offense. Whereas in Detroit with Dan Campbell, from his interview, he makes it sound like he's going to take people's kneecaps out. And that makes it sound like he's not going to be a pass-heavy offense. He's going to try to grind it, down in the trenches, keep low-scoring games. 20 points are going to win you the game, right? And they're going to rely on that run game, 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets with 1 receiver, maybe 2 receivers. So that might be better for Jared Goff, at least until he picks up the game speed of the NFL. Because he's still trying to figure it out. He had one and a half good seasons in Los Angeles, right? And then he just been very average, below average. But like I said, he's still young. He has still that potential to grow. Maybe being in Dan Campbell's offense might help. We don't know, but I guess we'll find out in 5 years from now.
I mean, yeah, you're right. And don't sleep on my boy Dan Campbell.
I love Dan Campbell.
Let's be
A&M
real
native, by the way.
I did not know that. But
he played tight end for A&M.
Oh, that's crazy.
And his interview, crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely wild.
Like your kneecap.
Yeah, we're going to take one kneecap. Then we're going to go back now. We're going to take on the way up from that one, we're going to take the other kneecap. It's like, what is going through your mind?
That's what you want. That's what you need from a team like the Lions, though.
I guess.
You just can't get someone in there.
All those players are like, what the hell is this guy saying? Everyone's scratching their head. Like, what do you want me to do, coach?
After the second kneecap, I was like, all right, this guy's totally lost my attention. And I don't recall anything after that. I was like,
it's like he was looking at a teleprompter and someone was like punking him and started like, that's not my speech, but I'm going to go with it.
No, but yeah, no, people forget, he turned that Dolphins, so we were about to be in another 0-16 team, and so he took over as head coach from Joe Philbin, another A&M native, not a good one. I'm not a fan.
We've had good, we've had bad.
Yeah, definitely without a doubt. But no, I like Dan Campbell. I really do. So I'm very confident in his schemes, but Rams won that trade. Goff's or my fault. Stafford's going to be relevant for the next 6 years. To be real, he's 32. He's probably going to be.
He's only 32.
Yeah, he's only 32. So
I was like 35.
Nah, he's only 32. So he's going to be in the league for at least the next 6 years. He's going to be a very good quarterback for the next 6 years. I mean, so long as his body holds up, because he plays through crazy injuries, and that's never good on your body. But so long as his body holds up, he'll be in the league for the next 6 years minimum. And they don't have a first round pick until 2025. Yeah, so they're kind of banking on free agency, and I mean, hey, they're in LA. They're gonna pull anybody just because everybody wants to go to LA. So it's like, that's the way the Lakers do it. I mean, look at the Lakers. They were bums, but they got LeBron because of LA. So
with the first round,
money.
Do what?
Rams don't have money to spend.
Yeah, they don't have much money.
And they're still paying part of Jared Goff's salary, so.
Are they really?
I think so.
I thought that went to the Lions.
Nah, I think it went straight to the Lions.
I think they're paying part of it.
I don't think so. I didn't hear that. I know that they're committed to paying Matthew Stafford's remaining 2-year contract. I know that for a fact.
I think they're paying part of Goff's salary because I remember seeing something like it was like a dead weight hit.
I hope
it went to the Lions. But did you see, though, with the first-round picks, because they traded to get Goff and other things
Jalen
like
Ramsey and
basically they're not going to have a first-round pick for 10 years or something. It's like 2015 because they lost Goff, which was 2016. 2015 was like their last first-round pick, and then they're not going to have one for like 2025. Like, that's insane. But NFL team is going to go like a 10-year drought without a first-round pick.
Yeah, like I said, that is their next first round pick is in 2025.
Unless they trade back somewhere, but
yeah, no, I can see them trading. Like like maybe Jalen Ramsey's last year on his deal, they traded him for a first round pick, or something like that. Or maybe Donald gets upset, then obviously they're going to be trading him, and that's going to be an easy three first round picks right there. So yeah,
or you could trade him for like David Johnson. I think that would be a good straight-up trade.
Yeah, straight-up trade. just give Aaron Donald for David Johnson. Yeah, facts. No, but Yeah, no, I just see that the Rams just won that. I don't think there's any much to hit on. I just think that the Lions haven't drafted well since they drafted Calvin Johnson and
Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford. Yeah, and so I don't think they've drafted well since then. And I mean they hit on DeAndre Swift though. They really did. DeAndre Swift's cold. He's very good.
Eric Ebron-ish?
Boomer bust. Boomer bust tight end.
For a tight end.
Very top 10 tight end.
Well, he wasn't good in Detroit, but he went to Indianapolis, and now he's with the Steelers.
Balled out.
Yeah.
Tight ends always take forever to do good.
They always take 3 or 4 years.
I mean, they hit on T.J. Hawkinson too. He's a good tight end.
That is true.
Yeah, he's a good
decent
tight end.
for a rookie.
And
Sophomore.
Galladay. So actually,
Galladay.
maybe on offense, yeah, they're good. But I mean, they haven't drafted a good defensive player, I think, since Darius Slay. So we'll see.
I mean,
we'll see.
The one they drafted this past season, he has potential still. Like,
yeah, no
he just
facts.
got thrown into the fire week 1, and then he had to cover like DeAndre Hopkins and like Devontae Adams in his first 2 games, and then he got hurt.
I mean, that whole
just
division
roasting
has
him.
great receivers.
Yeah,
So I mean, he's got to play them, every year. So he's got to play twice a year, right?
yeah, but with no offseason or training camp or preseason,
Yeah, it's not.
your first 2 games or like first several games, you're going against like top 5 receivers. Like, it's not fair to a 21-year-old kid. Like, I mean, you have to live up to the challenge, but like,
Yeah, facts. You're right.
it's just not fair.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I just don't think that the Rams are going to draft well. I think Dan Campbell's going to be made to be somebody like that's the villain, and I don't want to see that, but it's probably going to happen. But moving on, speaking of Dolphins, former Dolphins coaches, the Dolphins actually hired 2 coaches today to coach the same position. Offensive coordinator.
Offense.
Eric Studesville and like something Godsey, I can't remember his name, to be 100% honest with you. I follow every fan page in the book on the Dolphins, but I always forget the second one. Studesville is he's a stud. He's one of the most respected running back coaches in the league. I've known him for a very long time. Not known him personally, but I've had my tabs on the guy since he came in as the Dolphins coach. But he turned a lot of our bum running backs into solid running backs. So it's just one of those things. Do y'all think that this is going to end in turmoil, or do you think that it could potentially kind of work out?
Maybe.
Honestly, does anyone really care?
I mean, yeah, true. It was news today, so I just
Yeah, I mean, I think it's weird. I guess it's like comparable to having like a head coach that wants to call the plays. Then why do you have an offensive coordinator and?
But he's a defensive head coach.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying, but that's what it's like comparable to, right? So it's like
Right.
you have two offensive-minded coaches, your offensive coordinator and your head coach, and like both of them want to call plays. There's that always that battle, and one game head coach has it, then the next game the offensive coordinator has it, then the head coach takes it back because he didn't like what was being called.
Right.
So I guess Brian Flores is going to have to maintain that. He's going to have to figure out the responsibilities of each offensive coordinator and who's going to be playing calls and like who handles what situations. So it's really going to be up to Brian Flores. I personally don't like it just because, again, it's
Neither
two
do I.
people hired right now to do the same job. Again, we don't know the specifics of what they're going to do. But again, it's like having an offensive-minded head coach and then an offensive-minded offensive coordinator that aren't on the same page. Like one wants to run the ball, one wants to pass the ball to win the game, right?
Very true.
So potential to butt heads, yes. I guess we'll see once they figure out what they want to do with each one. But they really need, hopefully one of them knows how to develop a quarterback.
He's the
Tua
QB
is
coach.
under fire.
Yeah, Godly. I think his name's Godly, but he was our QB coach. So I mean,
Okay.
proven to. I mean, at least to some extent.
I mean, I love me some Fitz magic. So
Baylor just beat Texas, by the way. Texas only dropped one spot.
have they even started yet?
Yeah, bro, they lost 83-69 just right now, bro. Andrew Jones
Really?
had 25, but is Davion Mitchell Donovan's brother or cousin or something?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up, but no, super. And Drew and I have been actually talking about this all day long, or not really all day, but super huge news, super huge news came out today, right? This, I don't know if anybody knows, right? I don't know if anybody knows, but NCAA football video games are coming back.
Oh yeah.
Say bye-bye to your family, to your friends,
Yes!
unless they play it with you, your girlfriends, your girlfriend's girlfriends. You won't be seeing us in the fall at all.
I'm
I
telling
will be
you.
working so I can put food into my body
Yes.
and then
Is it coming out in
playing
the
the
fall?
football game. Well, I don't know if it's
They don't know when it's going to be released. I've heard
I
be
saw
in
that
the
it's
year.
going to be NCAA 2022, but I don't know if that means
Yeah.
in the year 2022 or in the year.
They released it a
2020.
year before. So if 2022 comes out, that would be this year. But
Yeah,
they're still
what I
working out all their
saw.
stuff.
Could
I've
be
heard
wrong.
2 years is
That's what
what
I've
it's
heard.
going to take because they expect 2 years. In 2 years, that this whole being paid to play is going to be sorted out. So that's what they're expecting. Just 2 years. So not this year, but next year that they're
So
probably going to have.
2023 comes out in 22.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what the supposed time frame is. But I'm telling you, and I'll just go ahead and just like spill the beans, like hours upon hours upon hours that I
Days.
played this game. Yes,
Months.
I'm telling you, like this was a game that I literally could never get bored of. And I'm telling you, okay, so it's so fun because you have 120 teams to choose from. And you can build any one of them up, or you can be like your own player and take your team to the BCS or try to do better. For like my situation, I was a quarterback of UConn, took UConn to the BCS national championship in 2 years. Crazy, like it was crazy fun, right? But the career, my fault, the GM mode is what, the franchise mode is what I really got into because, for instance. My favorite story ever of playing this game, University of North Texas, took me and my friend Colt, shout out Colt, John used to talk to his sister, shout out my man Colt, took UNT to the national championship, right, in 3 years. It was 3 years. It took us 3 years because we didn't get ranked that high, obviously. So it took us 3 years. And crazy recruiting, ended up getting like the number one corner in our second year and pulled it off. Like it's so fun because like you can recruit and every recruit's different. You can find hidden gems and it was so fun that we spent days on this game, and it was just so fun. And I loved every bit of it. But Drew, I know you said that you have a pretty crazy story.
So this is my favorite video game of all time. Well, franchise. My favorite video game of all time is like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. But like when people ask me what my favorite video game is, I tell them Madden because NCAA. And you got to like, mind you, people still play this game back
Facts.
from 2013 when it came out.
It's going for $80 because it's so wanted
And
on eBay and like
right.
resale stores.
And like, if you guys follow, Barstool Sports and the whole Coach Doug's and all of that, like it's still such a huge thing. It's hilarious. And I mean, this is gonna be like come out with Fortnite or whatever. Like everyone's gonna be playing it, everyone's gonna be streaming it, everyone's gonna be talking about it. Like this is bigger than what people think it's going to be. It's gonna be the biggest video game thing in the last like decade. I love this game so much, but my main kind of story. So obviously NCAA 14 had Johnny on it. I would play with him all the time. I love A&M, so I'd play all the franchise modes. You get to play Heisman modes. Those are also super fun. If they don't have some form of a Heisman mode where you can, do all those fun things, and even just back in the day, they would be like, you get to upgrade your dorm room. You get to upgrade this. It's so fun. But my favorite thing about this game was sophomore year of high school. I'm playing quarterback, and in high school, and we have 2-a-days. And we're sitting there one day in the QB room at school, and my coach, he's a very, highly good coach and everything, and we're talking.
Dilfer.
No.
Oh wait, Ty Detmer. I always get both of them confused. I even said that on the podcast that I get both of them confused. Anyway, sorry. Keep going.
It's all good. But so we're talking, and he's like, y'all should kind of like play, like when you go outside and it's 2-a-days in between, you got to rest, but also like keep your mind sharp and stuff. And he said, go play NCAA. And we played each other as quarterbacks, for that game. Then what happened was we went a little bit further and we made our playbook in NCAA for our St. Andrews
That's
team.
crazy.
And we actually worked in our little like RV trailer thing that was right next to our field. And we would play the game and work on our development. And like this was back in 2013 when you got to understand like the whole, you doing mental reps and video games and stuff was not all developed yet in college and NFL where you got the iPads and you're like going through reps. And so we were basically developing our off the field mental reps, through a video game. And so when we played each other, we used our, playbook. It would be called our things, it was a little bit off because you can't have a wordy playbook. We had a West Coast offense, but that was so fun for me that I was able to learn football through a video game that was actually in an NFL playbook and all of that. So that's why it's my favorite video game, because you got my favorite team, A&M football. You got, the stories of me learning football basically through it. It's also so fun to play franchise mode, this mode, everything, mascot mode. There's so many fun things to do. 120 teams, better than Madden because you get bored of the 32 teams. It's the best video game ever, and I am so hyped. I don't know what system I'm going to buy because I want to play with friends, and the Xbox friends that I have are slowly going out, but I have Xbox, and I don't know if I'm going to go to PS5, but I have to buy a new console now.
Because it's going to be for next gen.
It's going to be for next gen. I almost want to sell my Xbox One now. I don't know, but this is amazing. I'm so hyped for it.
John, did you ever play?
I did. I always loved Dynasty mode, or like where you kind of like what you said, Austin, like you just pick a team. And I would always pick like a random team. There was a while I would always play with Sam Houston State because that's where my dad went to school. I would play with Sam Houston State. That was a thing? Yeah, like you could pick like those FCS schools or whatever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe 2010. Maybe like back when y'all were like 5 or 6 years old.
All right, calm down. Calm down.
But yeah,
I'm not that young.
State, or like I would pick for some like random team that never even heard of.
Thank you.
So and just go and build up a team. Take a few years, but make it to a championship game. Beat some Alabamas and UTs and A&Ms.
Huh.
Yeah, let's spend hours, stay up playing till like 4 a.m. and then, oh wait, I gotta go to school. I'm sick. And just play video games longer. So.
Facts. No, I can't express how much. And like Drew said, I can sit here and just have conversations upon conversations upon conversations. Like my solo dynasties were with Syracuse. I could talk about that all day long. Like really, I could. But it's just one of those things. Like I think that just a bunch of gamers are just excited for, But we'll move on. We're gonna skip our last piece. Well, actually, for those who don't know, LeBron had a beef with what is being called courtside Karen. And I called today. I was like, she's probably only courtside because her husband's like 30 years older than her.
Yeah, he's old.
He's very old. I didn't know it. Did you
see the picture?
Yeah, I saw the picture. Yeah. And because she called like LeBron a steroid like junkie or something like that. And then like like John said, like her 70-year-old husband is just
she's like
But yeah, no, she's 25 and
she's 25.
She's 25 and
I thought she was like 30 some.
No, she's 25. I did both of them.
Yeah, exactly. So she's 25 and she went on saying that LeBron cussed him out, that it was all his fault and this had nothing to do with us. And it's all LeBron, all LeBron, all LeBron. Y'all can go watch it. I'm not going to say it word for word. But we got to realize that she's calling the most respected, the GOAT of current basketball. Not the GOAT of all time, MJ for life. Anyway, a person who doesn't do anything to definitely jeopardize his character, and he's now being labeled as the person that's cussing out the fans. Are we joking? She's definitely not paying attention to basketball. That's a fact. Because LeBron would never do anything like that. Sure, he may clap back at a fan, but he's not going to cuss him out. I'm assuming we're all in agreement here. Do y'all really think that he did that? Yeah,
From
see,
from what I heard was that it was an argument between the guy and LeBron,
it
and it
was.
was, as LeBron said, two men just having friendly banter back between each other, and that was fine, and it would have been kind of that. But then she stepped in and was like, "I'm defending my husband,"
Took
cuss
it too far.
words, and then cuss words, and then that's kind of how it elevated. That's what LeBron said in some speech. But I don't. I'm taking LeBron's side. I don't think it's his fault at all. He's playing a game. He's doing nothing wrong. Like what? I don't know what
Yeah,
else to say. Like it's how it happened, and they just wanted the clout.
yeah, facts. That's all she wanted. That's all she was doing it, and she ended up now probably ruining her life. She's probably never going to be allowed back into a game. Neither will her husband.
He'll be dead. Doesn't matter.
Oh my God,
It
Drew.
was, it was funny. That's like I was reading one of the articles or like a paragraph of what she was saying. It's like my husband's been a fan for a really long time,
Well, not anymore.
a really long time for like 10 years. I was like, 10 years is not a long time.
Not
10
long
years
time.
when you're
Well, I guess
70, bro.
because
That's
you
an
were
old
12
hobby. That's like
10
getting
years ago,
into
you were
bridge
12,
when you
so
go into the
this is a long
retirement
time.
home.
Facts. Like, oh my God. Like this chick just really irked me to the core. Like, I don't know what she was trying to gain from this, but she's ended up probably ruining her life. She's gonna be forever ridiculed on social media.
He has a lot of followers, though.
Oh, well, that's cool. I mean, LeBron's got more.
Duh. But as a fan,
At the end of the day, it's all about who's bigger. Those fans are gonna bully her. It's not like LeBron's gonna care about her fans bullying him.
So how much you want to bet that they get a divorce soon?
Oh, instantly,
She gets all
she's
the-
unless he
gone.
dies, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. She's getting that money.
She doesn't matter. She's not in the will.
25.
She's not in the will.
She's playing the smart game. She's
No.
playing the smart game.
If-
She's getting
if
the
he
money.
dies, she gets
She's getting
money,
the
but-
fame.
But there's a prenup. But she's just gonna marry another rich guy that's a lot younger.
Yeah.
She's not.
She's playing the
Probably something
infamous
about Chris for
route.
the Lakers. That's her next. Kyle
Yeah.
Kuzma.
It's something like that. She's probably gonna end up with somebody. Yeah. No.
D-Russ.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Keeping the NBA rolling, it's been a crazy year. COVID. We've had a lot of postponements. League's not handling it the way they should, to be honest. But
That's-
who's been a surprisingly good team this year? I mean, I have an answer. It's a definitely biased answer. I understand that. But let's be real here. The Spurs. The Spurs, bro. Like,
Fundamental basketball.
I mean, let's be honest. Everybody's sitting here predicting that at the beginning of the year, all my friends, like all the people that have been on here, Los, Jarek, Lonnie, Zay, B, like they're all sitting here saying, they're like, y'all aren't going to be anywhere in the conversation. Y'all aren't even in the picture. Like, y'all are going to be 12th or whatever. And I'm sitting here, I'm just like, y'all clearly don't know who we are. Clearly. We're not going to stay at the 5 spot that we are now. We're going to drop. Don't get me wrong.
like number 10.
Yeah, you guys aren't in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
like
really?
number 10.
You're at
They're like
10.
outside looking in because
Rockets are better, baby.
Well, like, that just goes to show because
James
we
Harden
beat the
was
Nuggets. Yeah, we beat the Nuggets and we were 4. And then after that, I think we lost 1 or 2, and then now we're down to 10.
They're like, if you look at the standings, it's all that, and then also Memphis with their COVID thing, their whole rankings are messed up. But
True, very true. I did see that, but that's one team, and then on the East side, I definitely got to say that it's probably been. I mean, I'm not going to say the Hawks, but, like, yes, the Hawks. Like, they're not fantastic, but they're playing a lot better than I thought they would. I mean, Hunter's really showed up. He's now stepping into the role of being kind of like that number 2 option.
He hurt his knee, though.
Huh?
He hurt his knee on Friday.
Did he? How bad?
Yeah. So it was already bothering him, so I think he's only out for like 2 weeks. I don't think it's anything major.
Right. No, they're 10-10 right now. Like, let's be real though. They're already very close to matching their wins of last season, and we're only 20 games in. So,
Capella's good.
yeah, Clint Capella's a freaking horse. Like, he's a huge force on that team, and I don't think that anybody really respected him with the Rockets because he had
we
James
shouldn't
Harden.
let him go.
Really
No,
should
they
have.
shouldn't.
No.
I mean, he's a 2020 monster. He's literally an Andre Drummond on steroids, in my opinion, because he can play very, very good defense. So that's just me. I mean, another team that I could say kind of has been flopping, in my opinion, would be the Raptors. They're not really showing up. Pascal Siakam is not playing good whatsoever. And then the Mavericks, which is sad because
Yeah.
Luka's actually shooting a horrendous. Ooh, Luka, favorite player. Just saying, he's from Dallas. He's playing in Dallas, but I don't go for the Mavs. But Luka's shooting a horrendous 29% from three, shooting 7 attempts per game, and that's not good. That needs to be changed. But that's enough of me. Drew, who are your shockers? Who are your sneakers?
I have the 76ers as the most surprising team just because, like, I don't know. Before this season, I was kind of feeling like it was about to decline and we were going to have Embiid or Simmons. Someone was going to go. They weren't going to put it together, yada, yada. And they're putting it together and they're winning games, down to the wire. They beat the Lakers the other night and, like, they're top seed. So it's just one of those things that I was like, okay, maybe their playoff chances and their, non-pretender, they move to contender. So that was kind of the most surprising team. And then I don't really have – what's up?
But looking at that, looking at their roster, did you really think that there was kind of going to be a downside?
It was more
Really?
of team chemistry.
I didn't look at it that way. I actually thought they had the roster to do it. They're kind of, they picked up Seth, which was a huge piece because he can shoot, something that they did not have, especially if they get JJ too. Just surround Simmons with shooters, please, please. Just surround Simmons with shooters. I promise you, it'll work out. Like, he doesn't need to shoot threes. But Embiid's MVP race, so on paper to me it looked like it would work.
But I just thought with chemistry, almost like when we were talking about the Nets, I was like, they haven't done anything yet. When you have like superstars for 5 years, you're like, okay, when is it going to go down? Are they going to be able to mesh? Like, finally, and they did. So I got that. I don't know about other surprising teams. I was trying to like claw and like I don't want to say anything else that I just don't see. Like, it's kind of early. There's not too many surprising teams. But there's a lot of surprisingly bad teams like the Heat and the Pelicans, mainly the Pelicans. You already told me about the Mavs. Oh, the Pelicans suck.
I understand that, but like you expected them to be good.
No, but like
expected them to be better.
This bad.
Okay,
like they are almost last place bad. Like you're telling me that all the hype with all these players that they got for rebuilding and stuff, that they were only going to basically their biggest quality win was the Raptors. Basically,
they beat the Bucks.
Okay, they beat the Bucks recently, right? No. But
their bench has always been the problem. Jackson Hayes is not playing like he should. I mean, outside of Jackson Hayes, I don't know who's on their bench. That's the thing. JJ Redick is coming off the bench. Definitely needs to be
traded. Eric Gordon coming off the bench, or is he starting?
You mean Eric Bledsoe?
Yeah, Bledsoe, whatever they're saying.
He's starting. He's a shooting guard next to Lonzo, and that's just a terrible combo. That's a brutal combo.
I'm just saying with all the pieces that they have to like, you got Zion, he's gonna be the next great. You got Lonzo, you got Bledsoe, you got Ingram. All of these, I'm like, when is it gonna formulate to someone? It almost reminds me of like trust the process of 76ers, right? And they're like, when is that gonna formulate, right? So that was just my whole thing is like, it almost looks like they're gonna get another top pick, and when are they gonna actually get good with their players and need one more piece? Like it looks like they need 5 more pieces.
Oh, Nickeil Walker Alexander, Shai's cousin.
He doesn't play though.
Yeah, he does. He actually does. Well, he played whenever Lonzo was hurt. He now dialed back the minutes because of Lonzo returning. So, like, yeah, you can say that he doesn't play, but he gets like 12 to 16 minutes a game, I think.
Not enough.
He was showing sparks, but nothing serious,
But also just who they play. Like they're losing to teams that are bad.
They are. You're very much correct. But I just think that team is too young. I think they need to get rid of Lonzo. They need to let Eric Bledsoe run the point. If you can take Lonzo and trade him for either first round draft picks or get a solid veteran shooter and draft picks, That's a win. Lonzo is not a superstar. He is a very good point guard, but is not
He's not even a star.
He's not even a star, exactly. He's
the
a
third
lob
best
throwing.
player.
Yeah, whoa.
That's bad. No.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh no, actually that's true. You got LaMelo, LeVar,
I was about
and Lonzo,
Jello.
and then Jello, and then Lil Dicky is fourth. Actually, if you guys have seen
I
that,
forgot about Lil
comedy
Dicky,
skit.
bro. Yeah, I have. Yeah. That's hilarious. No, but if they do that, I think they're gonna be straight. And then it's one of those things that's like once they trade Lonzo, it's going to be back to the process because they're probably not going to do good this year. I thought it's just you can't have a non-shooting Zion and Steven Adams. You can't. It just doesn't work that
Ben
way.
Simmons and Embiid.
Not really, because Embiid can actually he's got a.
I guess
mini.
that's true. He can shoot, but
yeah, Steven Adams
Zion
cannot
got
shoot.
scrapped. Let him shoot.
Yeah, let Zion shoot the ball. Like he's only averaging I think he's only taken 3 or 4 freaking 3-pointers all season.
shots out of the paint.
Oh, really?
Well, almost. If you look at his shots, in general, they're all in the paint.
Oh, that's
Just leave it alone, right?
that's not good. That's not the way you should be running the offense. That's just not.
Well, I do like his shots in the paint.
I do. Yeah, of course. I mean,
What'd you say, John?
So he's still scoring 25 points a game. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
why
crazy.
fix it if it's not broken?
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, they just need a bench. They can get a bench, solves all their problems.
And get rid of Lonzo.
And yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah. John, stinkers, studs.
Well, I don't want to call him a stud, but they actually done decent. I probably would have had them winless at this point in the season. The Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's true.
Very true, Darius.
Colin
and
Sexton
Collins.
has looked
Sexton's
very good.
balling.
That was a good
He
draft.
has been
pick.
balling out.
Fantasy.
They're 10-11. They're number 7 right now in the East. They're not. I don't think they'll stay there just because you got the Heat looking out, Toronto on the outside. Number 8 is Charlotte, which has also surprisingly looked decent.
Give me
And
Hayward.
Gordon Hayward has looked good. I'm not going to trade him to you.
Fuck, man. God, I tried so hard this weekend, Drew. I tried so hard this weekend, and he wouldn't give them to me.
He's looked really good, and I figured he would look a lot better being out of Boston. I don't know, being out of the spotlight. He's a small town guy.
You and me both.
So I like those two. I mean, they've looked good. They're surprising to me. And in the Western Conference, I don't want to say surprising, just because they've been there the last few years, but they've looked like maybe the best team in the NBA or one of the best teams. But Utah.
Oh, very
The
true.
Utah Jazz are 15-5. They're half a game behind the Clippers. Gobert's playing great. Mitchell's playing great. Clarkson's playing great.
Sixth man of the
Clarkson.
year.
Yeah,
Baby. Big
and so
pickup.
they've been my sleeper team for the last 4 or 5 years, honestly.
So
And
let me ask you a question.
They just always lose first or second. I don't know why.
Is this everything finally coming full circle, or is this hey, people are actually playing better than they're supposed to? And this is something we're seeing now, but 20 more games down the road could be a different story.
I think
What's up, Los?
this is they're playing really good right now. They're playing way better than they're supposed to. They're going to cool down, but I still think they'll be a top 3 team in the West.
Ooh, that's bold. That's a bold prediction.
Obviously, it would be Clippers, Lakers, and Utah, right?
Ooh.
Above Denver?
Above Denver, yeah.
That would be my only one.
I think so. Mike Conley is the key, right?
Oh, very much so.
He's playing the best he's probably played since pre-injury when he was with Memphis. And this is probably the best team he's ever played on too, because he's
without
not
doubt.
the main. He's the third option. All right, he's actually the 4th option to score the ball, or third option. I don't know, because Gobert doesn't score, but he cleans up
I
everything.
mean, Bojan. I would consider a better option shooting than Conley. I mean, driving, obviously, I would take Conley every day, but shooting, I'd take Bojan.
He just doesn't have the pressure that he had in Memphis, especially because he signed that big contract there and got hurt. So they've been the biggest surprise, at least not surprised, but kind of under the radar team because no one's talking about them. But then I'm going to agree with Drew. I think the Pelicans have probably been the most surprising team. Like they weren't going to be a top 4 team in the West, but they should be a top 8 team potentially.
Right.
Um, with just Zion and Bi alone, that's 60 points a game, close to. They just can't find points anywhere else, and they don't play defense.
Yeah, that's very true. They don't. Steven Adams is the only person playing defense, so I I just don't know. I never saw the Pelicans doing that good. I think I expect them to do this. It's just it's so tough because you look at it and on paper, yes, it should work, but you look at it also and you're like, this is not a good looking team in my opinion. It's just I don't know. Y'all could be on. Y'all can definitely be onto something. Y'all definitely got a point. They should be doing better, but I don't think that they. It's kind of like the Spurs situation. I think they're going to be on the outside looking in. That's what my vision of them going into the season was going to be. I figured that they'd be 9 or 10. Spurs would be right behind them. So.
Hey, the Suns have been balling out though. Chris Paul.
Very true.
Last couple of games, Chris Paul's been balling out.
No Devin Booker.
I think he's healthy now. He played last night.
He's been averaging like 25 and like I think 9 or something like that over the last like 4 games. So I mean,
he's good. So hey, don't sleep on the Suns.
But he does this with every team, like with every team. So I'm not surprised at this point. Like let me ask you something, because I put this in a Twitter chat. Who has been the most overrated? Or my fault. No, who's been the star that's been under performing this year? A lot of people said it was Devin Booker. But he's averaging like 23 and 6, 1% less difference in shooting. I was saying Pascal. Pascal's been very disappointed. I'm having him on my team. Went from averaging 23, now he's averaging like 17. And his everything is dipped. And so it's just like, I want to know from y'all. It's on the spot. I understand. No research. But who has been an underperforming star for y'all?
I definitely agree with the Pascal argument. He just I don't follow Toronto, but like I still try to keep up with like numbers and stats, and he's just hasn't since Kawhi left. Honestly, he hasn't looked good. And then last year in the playoffs, he looked awful, and then or in the bubble, he looked awful, and then this year he just hasn't made that much of an impact in games, and it shows with their record. Like they're 8-12 or whatever, so like they're in contention, but they were the number 2 seed last year or number 1 seed, whatever they were. And the year before that, they were the number 1 seed. So it's just he hasn't taken those leaps that people expected him to after Kawhi left. And for the Devin Booker argument, like his numbers have dropped, but you got to realize his numbers dropped because one, he has Chris Paul, he has a supporting cast now. Whereas before, he was taking 40 shots a game, and he was the only one that could score, right?
And Ayton's playing very well this year.
Huh?
And Ayton's playing very well this year.
Yeah, definitely. And he's been hurt too, so I'm not going to no knock on D-Book right now.
The number one argument against that was the fact that Chris Paul is a pass first point guard, which I called complete BS on, but I just thought I'd let you know that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll go with Pascal, but I think another one that's kind of going under the radar, Jaylen Brown has been balling out.
Thank you! Man, I've been so...
What?
Yes, I've been a fan of Jaylen Brown for the last 2 seasons. I completely understand.
You have his stats now? No, I'll pull them up. I'm looking at it.
Okay, I'll elaborate on that. Like, Jaylen, all-star immediately. Like, he's an all-star immediately. I put him in my... I sent my starting group, and it was Jaylen and Bradley. I understand there's 2 shooting guards, but it's like, I want both of them in. I don't really like any point guard in the East more than I like Jaylen Brown. So, like, I think Trey is the most deserving outside of, in that group, but you can always put Kyrie there. Kyrie's going to get the start at the All-Star game just because of his name alone. But Jaylen Brown deserves to be very much up there. And I'm advocating so much on Jaylen, and Jarek has too. He's in the chat as well. Jarek has as well, and we just called it. We just knew that this was going to happen. But Jaylen is so slept on, and that's why whenever we were ranking our top shooting guards, like we put CJ McCollum at 8, and we put Jaylen Brown in front of him at 7. If y'all haven't watched it, I definitely recommend going and watching it with Los and Lonnie. But Los is so adamant now that CJ is top 5, which is kind of BS. But
So Jalen is averaging 27, 5, and 3. Like, that's very
what's
good.
his steals and his blocks, though? He's very, very good on defense.
Half a block, 1 steal.
Not nothing fantastic, but
No,
I'm putting him on the best player, and I'm not putting Tatum on the best
50%
player.
from the floor, so that's very good.
Yeah,
Probably he's been the best player for Boston this year.
without a doubt.
He's only played 10 games though.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm still, and Jarek just said this too. Like Jarek put in the comments, he said that Jaylen Brown better than CJ McCollum. I gotta agree with
He
it.
can do more.
What?
I think he can do more than CJ can.
He's just 2-way. Every single person that we put in front of CJ is a 2-way. That's why CJ is back, because yeah, he plays defense, but he doesn't play defense. So very good.
I'm wrong. Sorry, he's shooting 53% from the floor overall.
Even crazier.
Even better. So
Yeah. Drew?
All the players on my fantasy team are balling out. No, I really don't have I was looking through all the teams, and you guys kind of glossed over most of them because I don't want to attack some stars because they're not winning, but then some guys are winning, but they're just kind of like Jason Tatum is not looking as good because Jaylen Brown's looking really good.
Facts.
I don't know. I couldn't really find anyone. Who?
Like LeBron,
yeah, LeBron's trash. Yeah, no.
They're putting up crazy numbers, but they're still the number 1 overall team in the NBA. So it's
Facts. Well, he's like 25,
resting.
7 and 7. I think is his
resting. So.
Yeah, which is cool. 25, 7 and 7 is good. Not gonna say it's not. It's definitely LeBron numbers. These numbers we've seen for the last 4 seasons. So,
and then he'll put out a game here or there against the Cavs, blah blah blah, and he's like, I can still play, but you guys know I'm resting. You guys know why.
Yeah, facts.
But no, I don't have anyone.
You don't have anyone?
I mean, I was looking. I was like, I don't want to do a bunch of these guys dirty because, I don't know. It's just early.
Yeah.
There's a lot I could talk about, but I don't want to put my claim on them yet. Let's just wait.
Okay, well,
let's
okay.
Go. I got one more. Let's go, Cat, because he hasn't played much.
Oh, what do you do? Wait. Oh,
so he hurt his wrist.
Yeah, he hasn't played.
Now he has COVID.
Hurt his wrist. Came back and played 2 more games.
That's tragic.
Got COVID, and hasn't played.
So tragic.
Hasn't played since the middle of January.
Yeah. Shout out. I mean, I hope Cat gets better. I mean, to go through everything. Fred VanVleet dropped 54 points tonight. That is great for my fantasy team. Go Fred, bro. Let's go. No, but no. Yeah. I hope Cat gets through everything because everything he's been through with COVID, he deserves so much better, and it's just crazy to see that he's not on the court because of COVID. So I hope he gets better. Shout out to Cat. But we'll end it with this. Another thing that was said in our Instagram chat by Young, Christopher, and Gulo. Okay?
Never heard of her.
Jarek said for Drew to give him Luka.
No, Luka
give Austin
is on.
Luka. You're right. No, give Austin Luka. Yes, you're right. Yes.
No. I'm sticking with Luka. I know that he hasn't been doing what he has.
Yeah, so give him to me. I'll give you people. Come on.
He's still putting me but I don't think people understand. I know I don't know NBA as much as I know football, but I looked at my team the other day and I said, I got a chance. I have
1-4.
I'm 2-4. I start off 0-4. There's always what happens in our Yahoo leagues with everything. I start off 0-4.
Because you don't pay attention for the first
No,
month.
I do pay attention, but you got to understand. I lost to John by 5 points. I lost to somebody else by 5 points. I have the 4th most scored points in the league. Right now, both of my centers are injured. It's Nurkic and I don't even know who the other one is. That's Valanciunas is injured.
You need to go pick up players. That's how you win these things. Is you pick up these players and get those 20, 30 points here and there.
I know, but I also had Kristoff and Kemba hurt for a while, or to start the season. Then I had Jason Tatum hurt for a while. So my roster has been, all of my really good guys have been injured. I've made some good pickups. I've made some good drafts, but
you get 8 a week.
Keeping Luka.
You get 8 a week.
Keeping
I'm
Chris. I'm keeping all my guys. Once I get my, starters healthy and stuff, it'll be a different game. Just give me time.
You have a
Yeah.
very good team. You
No,
have
I'm
easily
in the
probably the
same
most
boat.
talented team.
I'm in the same boat as Drew though. Like I had at one point, I think I had 6 guys on the IL, but you can only have 3 of them on there.
Fact,
Still have
same.
3
I had
guys
5 at one
that
time.
Huh?
I had 5 at one time.
Yeah. So like you can't drop these guys because they're too good to drop.
Facts.
Right.
And so it's like, who am I gonna drop that I still have on my roster? I'm like, well, I don't want to drop them because they're actually good. So it's like trying to find that balance. I'm like, and so like now that everyone's healthy, I'm like, who do I drop now? Now that everyone's almost healthy.
Time out. Hi, first off, hi Karen. I don't know who Karen is. Karen Isaacs. She says hi and Trump 2020 stop the steal. I don't know what that means, but
This might be a spam.
yeah,
It's 2021.
yeah. So hi Karen. I'll just say that. I'm not gonna get political. I don't want to get political. I hate politics. No, but yes, John, you're completely right. It's just one of those situations. We're gonna wrap this up, and I just want to let this be known. I lost to Nick this week because I had 100 points left on my bench, and then I just started the week yesterday with 120 points left on my bench.
Start your
Great.
roster.
I understand
Press
that,
the
but I
button
forget
the rest of the
every
week.
single Monday, and it pisses me off.
But it also doesn't put your best players in the lineup.
That's true.
Facts.
You do have to go look at it.
I literally had Bam, Shy, Fred, and Lori Markkinen, and Lori actually did something for once. But no, anyway, last thing to wrap up the podcast. It was recently said that by Nick and Chris that LeBron would have more championship or more MVPs right now if the people in the NBA did not get bored of giving it to the same person. Is this true? Is this false? This is what we're wrapping it up with.
I think so. When
You
you're
think it's
talking about MVP, it gets really, jumbled on what does that mean? Are you the most valuable player on your team?
Right now,
best
like-
player, like all of that. So like it's difficult. Has he been the best player over the last 10 years? Yeah.
But what I'm
So,
saying is,
that's
so
the short
MVP is the most valuable player of that season. So let's not dive too deep into it. It's not who has value in their team more. It's about who did the best, who put up the best numbers, because that's what they base it off of. Who put up the best numbers in that year. And you're telling me that
Well, that's a different story.
Russ,
That's a different story.
James Harden,
That's a different story.
KD,
It's not put up
Steph.
the best numbers.
That's basically
because
what they look at.
You said who's the best right now. So is it best player or is it best stats? Because that's a different argument.
I mean, that's just what they look at. They look at points. They look at assists,
And
rebounds,
I think that's
blocks,
what Nick
etc.
is saying, that because they don't want to give it to the best player, so what do? They look for other arguments. Oh, let's give it to the best stats. Let's give it to.
Yeah, no, you're right. But that's just how they gauge the MVP. That's how they look to see who puts up the best stats. They're not going on who's the most valuable to their team because, let's be real, the most valuable to their team, I mean, obviously it's going to be, LeBron, because he's number one in the world right now. If it was who is the best player, then it would go to LeBron every single year. I understand that. But it's who's the best, basically stat stuffer every single year. And I'm just saying that, like, I'll let John tune in before I say anything, because I don't think it's true. I just don't think it's true. But I'll explain here in a second.
Well, I think you can make an argument for LeBron to have won an MVP pretty much every year for the last 10 years, right?
You can definitely make an argument. Yes.
There's an argument for that. I would have to go back and look and compare his stats to who actually won each specific year, just to see and kind of see like with the records of the team that they were on and everything like that. But I think there is a point, like at a certain point in time, I think people just get tired of seeing the same people win everything every single year. So NFL MVP, Heisman, MLB MVP, like all these awards, like I think people just get tired of seeing them. So that's why they have like first team and second team players. And now they're not even doing like first team point guard, first team shooting guard. They do like 2 guards. And
Right.
like a lot of times, like if you are like a tweener player, they'll consider you a guard because another forward should have gotten the spot also. So I can see that case. Like people just get tired of seeing the same person win MVP every year. But I think there's an argument for LeBron to have won more than one MVP or more MVPs. I would just have to go back and look and do more
He's got
research.
4. By the
Compare
way.
him.
He's got
Oh,
4.
he has 4. Oh, my bad.
He has
but,
4. Yeah, he's got 4.
He could have more. You'll just have to compare his numbers to the other players that have won. So it's been Steph, Harden, Westbrook, Curry,
So here, Derrick Rose and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Derrick Rose, and
Antetokounmpo.
Giannis.
So here's the thing. Okay, he won it back-to-back times. First times he's won it, he's with the Cavs. Won it back-to-back times. 2008, 2009, 2009, 2010. Then it was Derrick Rose. Are we discrediting Derrick Rose?
He deserved
We're
it.
not he deserved it, right? He was absolutely phenomenal. Like, in that season, he took the Bulls to number 1. He was the best player in the league that year, in my opinion. That's what I'm saying. I'm not putting that Derrick Rose over LeBron in terms of talent. Obviously, LeBron's still number 1 in 2010, 2011. He's coming into his peak, or his prime. I'm not saying that. But then LeBron wins it 2 more years after that with Heat, okay? Then they go to KD. Are you telling me that KD didn't deserve it over LeBron that season? Let's just go. Let me just go look at his stats, right? So he won it.
Actually, the real MVP was Katie's mom. So.
Oh yeah, KD's mom. So.
According to KD.
Yeah, no. According to KD, what year was that? So that was
That was
2013, 2014, right? So if we're gonna look at that, 2013, 2014, he 81 games, 50% from the field, 39% from 3. Great numbers. 32 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, a steal, a block. Are we discrediting KD? I mean, I'll go and look at LeBron's numbers real quick, but in my opinion, those are some pretty solid numbers. I'm just saying. It may just be me. 35, or my fault, 32, 7 and 6. Those are crazy numbers. Those are very much MVP numbers. LeBron put up 27, 7 and 6, 2 steals, and that's it. Didn't really record a block. He shoots worse from 3, but overall better from the field goal range because that was LeBron's game in Miami. He was just attack the rim, and shoot the 3 every once in a while. But he wasn't known for shooting the 3 until he went back to Cleveland. So I'm just saying they had very similar numbers, but what did KD have? Better 3-point percentage, more points, 1 more block. I'd say that right there is just edging him out just barely. Once again, John was like, you can have an argument. Just barely edges him out, right? So then, after that, Steph Curry wins it back-to-back times. Once again, are we discrediting Steph Curry? The only person ever to win it unanimously.
No, we're not discrediting Curry.
So there's another one LeBron doesn't have. Maybe 2.
Keep going. I would say that the Durant one, though, you could definitely put more of an argument on it. But keep going.
Without a doubt, you're right. But it's just Kevin Durant edged him out just a little bit, is what I'm saying. But anyway, Steph Curry back-to-back, I don't think you're taking that away from Steph. Best point guard, best shooter ever, changed the game forever. Russell Westbrook. First, now, let's put ourselves in this mindset. The triple-double is very much expected in today's NBA, but was it expected back then? No. He was the first person ever, outside of Oscar Robertson, second person ever to average a triple-double on the season. That is history. That right there is something that we had never seen in our lifetimes. Of course he's going to be MVP. Stat stuffer or not. Of course he's going to be MVP. That is history.
And didn't he actually shoot decent that year too?
I don't think so. I think he shot great from field goal. I'll look it up.
Decent for him, yes.
Yeah, decent for
him. Yeah.
So 2016, 2017, he shot, career high in 3-point percentage at 34%. Terrible. Or not terrible. Very average. And then 43% from field goal, but he averaged 32 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, basically almost 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and not a block. So 0 blocks. Once again, history. Do not take that away from Russ. We also got to say that LeBron wasn't even second in that argument. James Harden almost averaged a triple-double as well. James Harden's number 2 that year. LeBron's number 3. Okay? So once again, there's another one. That's now we're talking 4 straight MVPs right there, with one of them being highly contested, aka Kevin Durant. Okay? And to wrap it up, James Harden and Giannis. My fault. LeBron was once again 3-3 in both of these in the last 3 years. Giannis was 1, James Harden was 2, LeBron was 3 in all 3 of those years. Or in Harden's case, he was 1, then Giannis, then LeBron. So what's the argument here?
The argument here is this. LeBron was the best player in the last 10 years. LeBron was championship relevant over those 10 years. Just like the argument that we brought up earlier.
We're talking about the regular season, not anything else. Just
like
season.
We were talking about earlier in the regular season. Is LeBron James the 10th best player right now because he has maybe the 10th most points or maybe the 10th most rebounds or the 10th most assists? No, he doesn't care about the regular season. Cares about getting to the end of the season healthy. He cares about just putting up enough wins to give him some home field advantage here and there and get to the championship. He doesn't care about that. Last year, Giannis versus LeBron. Oh, it was very slight. Who was going to edge out? Whatever. Giannis looked terrible in the playoffs. LeBron won it all. That is the argument. That yes, you could say, oh, let me bring up stats because this is going to say, this has never been done before, so we're going to have him over him. Oh, we've never had a shooter like this before, so he's better than LeBron. Oh, James Harden had a crazy February. He's going to be the best. That is why you bring out, you're like, let me use this argument because it beats him. Let me use this argument because it beats him. The best player of the last 10 years was LeBron. He doesn't care about the regular season that much because once he got
that actually helps his convert. That's actually that helps me in my argument because he doesn't care about the regular season. You're right.
Yes.
So it's like, why is everybody making a big deal on the fact that
the MVP should not, if it's this one, it should not be this big touted trophy because, okay, who cares about the regular season victories? That doesn't matter at all, right?
I mean, it's the highest award. You're not going to be crowning, nobody's getting excited for crowning offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. Like, nobody's getting excited. You're talking like the best player in the season that year. And then we give another MVP
if it's
for the
playoffs. Be of the championship too.
Because we already give a finals MVP. That's basically like if he has no reason, or let's just say LeBron goes the entire playoffs, right? Plays well, but doesn't play well in the finals. He's not going to get the finals MVP. You get an MVP for the playoffs, and that's if you take your team to win a championship.
Right. So
then
why
you
is
get
it,
the MVP of the finals, therefore, or the playoffs. They should probably just call it the playoffs MVP because it really is. Like, you get that MVP. They already have one designated for the playoffs. So in my opinion, we need to get this thing out that, it needs to be in the playoffs too. No, they already give one for the playoffs. That's the finals MVP.
So then you have 2 separate trophies and have an overall trophy or something. But at the end of the day, does it matter if in the playoffs you make it to the championship and lose? No, you don't get the MVP. You don't give MVP like they do give MVPs to losing teams. Russell Westbrook, when he triple-double and stuff, he didn't do anything in the playoffs.
But like I said, that's history. But we're talking. Okay. We're not talking the playoffs though. We're talking regular season MVP.
History of stats. That doesn't. Rick Barry was great at free throw shooting. Let's give him a trophy. That doesn't mean that you're gonna be like like one of the best ever or something.
You're right, but whenever you talk
about one stat that was really great, congratulations. But did you win? Did you put your team over? Yeah, I got an extra rebound, but I shouldn't have got the rebound. I should have went in transition. It doesn't tell the whole story.
We're definitely getting off topic. Once again, we can't count the playoffs. The playoffs do not matter in terms of MVP of the NBA because it only counts the regular season. So it does not matter. We cannot talk about that. What I'm sitting here trying to say is the MVP races over the last 5, or what was it? Hold on, let me count real quick. 3, 6, 7 years. Over the last 7 years, people are Nick and Chris are now saying that LeBron should have more MVPs. I just gave you reasons to why that shouldn't be. And it's not just one reason. It's a lot. There's a lot of reasons why. Like, once again, you're not going to deny history. You're not going to take away from history. That's why they give it to Russell Westbrook. You're not going to take that away. You're not going to take a life-changing player, for NBA players at least, an NBA-changing player, you're not going to take his back-to-back unanimous MVPs because LeBron was the greatest player on the world. No, you're not going to take that away from him because, A, he was obviously the first unanimous for a reason, and he was the first time to ever win it back-to-back unanimously for a reason because he was the best player in that season. LeBron was not. LeBron is the best player, period, in the NBA. Don't get me wrong. Nobody's doubting that. But you're not taking away these MVPs from these guys that were the best that season. Like, if anybody's starting a dynasty, I guess, right? You're taking LeBron to start that with, no matter how old he is. Because LeBron's the number one player in the world. But you're not taking away these other MVPs from these guys that did better than him slightly that season. LeBron got his MVPs because he was the number one in those seasons. Without a doubt. Hands down. LeBron deserves every single MVP that he did win, but he definitely does not deserve the MVPs that he didn't win. Maybe the James Harden win. Maybe the Kevin Durant win. You can sit here and make some cases for these other ones, but you can't take them away. John, last opinion?
It's like I said, there's an argument for LeBron pretty much every year, but just comparing him to the actual people that won for that season alone, that person, the whoever won was probably potentially more deserving, most of them.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
At certain points, if you wanted to break it down and get way more specific, that's a deep conversation that could take hours, right?
Right.
That's what everyone else does whenever they vote for MVP. They break it down way, way, way more than we just did. So, is he deserving of more MVPs? Yes, but he's not more deserving than the people that actually won. So,
and I can understand that. But that's just one of this debate that you can just
it's like any other season, he would have been the MVP, right? But like that season,
exactly.
Those people just were played out of their minds, and like they were on good teams.
If he had the numbers that he had, like we just said, like 25, 7, and 7, if he had those numbers, he's not the front runner. It's Embiid right now, right? He's 25, 7, and 7. If he had those numbers 10 years ago, nobody would be questioning it. LeBron would be number one, ahead of everybody by a mile. So it's just like every other year he could have these numbers that he could be very much well deserving of the MVP, but it's just one of those things. You can just it's just like the MJ LeBron debate. You can debate this forever. Like you're never gonna go back and change history. That's a fact. But you can sit here and debate how history should have happened. And I mean that's just you're fighting a losing battle in that case. But we're gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate everybody tuning in today. Be sure to share. I don't think anybody really understands how much sharing actually helps a small podcast like this grow. It's absolutely important. I'm not saying that you got to do it. I don't care. I'm going to get on here every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 to just, have a good time, to chat with my boys. That's what I started this for, to keep up with everybody after college, and at the end of the day, that's where I get my enjoyment. But do I want to see this grow? Do I want to see this be a big thing? Of course. That's the side. That's a side goal. But I appreciate everybody who stopped in, who commented, and really just, if you were here for 2 seconds, if you were here for, 2 hours, an hour and 18 minutes, I appreciate you 100%. And with that being said, be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to follow on Spotify. New episode coming Thursday on Spotify. Go follow Drew go subscribe to Drew on YouTube. Drew Brummer, exactly how his name's spelled right there on his banner. That's his exact YouTube channel. There you go. Yeah, that a boy, Drew. John, last comments?
I do actually. I have one thing to say. So today I read this ESPN article. It's about a professional baseball player that was battling some mental health issues and actually attempted suicide, shot himself in the head and survived for 20 hours and made it to the hospital, and does have a currently does have a MLB contract to resume playing, and this all happened last year during 2020. Go check it out. His name is Drew Robinson. It was just a very good like article. I know it's very depressing and like very graphic, but it's just very eye opening that someone that's at the top level of baseball, just all the demons that he was battling. So really, the point of the story is you don't really know what your friends are going through. So checking on your friends, checking on your family, make sure they're doing all right, and really pay attention to them. Notice the signs.
Facts.
But again, it was just a very, very good story, and I hope he does well. But just go check it out on ESPN.
Yeah, without a doubt, go give that a read. It's a crazy time for everybody, 100%. But Nick and I just had a huge conversation about it just right before recording this podcast. But everything's gonna come out fine in the end, because once we get through this, once we reach the greener pastures, as we would say down here in South Texas, everything's gonna be a-okay. And like John said, reach out, just say friends, family, just be like, yo, I love you, man, I love you, lady. We're not gender specific on this podcast, but just check in on them, because it's hard times for everybody. Drew,
Love y'all. Be safe.
all right, perfect way to end it. And we will see y'all Thursday, 7:30. Be sure to be there. And peace.